right, Susan, nice to see you again on Gay Pride again for 2013.
Happy Pride, everyone. Happy Pride 2013. Oh boy, we're almost there.
We're almost there. And thinking of almost there, that Bill C-279 it is for trans, that's in the House of Commons right now, waiting to, to be fulfilled, finally to get your rights as a trans person and for all trans people here in Canada. How is that? What do you think the delay is? What do you think the delay is in the House of Commons for this issue?
Well, this is the fourth time the bill has gone through the House of Commons. The second time it's passed the House. Yeah. 3 readings in the House. It's at Senate now, and it passed unanimously, unamended, at committee just about a week ago. And so we're waiting for third ballot vote. We don't know if it's going to come in the next week or so because they're getting ready for summer holidays. But we are so close because that one last vote means that it goes to royal assent. Now there's an amendment coming forward which adds sex to gender identity. So 279 would amend the Canadian Human Rights Act to include gender identity. And it would add that to the hate crimes provision. And so an amendment actually is coming from Senator Nancy Rue. So we're concerned about that because that may have to send it back to the House and delay it. And you know what they say? Justice delayed is justice denied. And I like to say, actually, no justice is injustice. So it may be coming back in the fall. What we want to encourage people to do, if you're watching this or you're participating in a Pride event this year in Toronto or across, let your senator know how important it is for trans people to be included in Canadian society, to be included as persons, just like everyone else, to be included like our gay, lesbian brothers and sisters, our bisexual and two-spirited people, that we have the same rights as everyone else. And so call your senator and tell them how important it is that people like me and others here are protected.
Especially in light of all the senators now getting under the scandal with all the money that they've been wasting on taxpayers' money. It's in their best interest at this time to vote something that's actually should have been voted a long time ago. Now, now when you compare Canada to the rest of the world, now we do have a trans person from Argentina here. Their rights, their trans rights are way ahead of us in Canada. Like, Canada should be at the forefront of this now, eh? What do you think that was the reason for the resistance in Canada? Is it just, is it a religious reason, or what do you think?
Well, yeah, that's a really good question, isn't it? Well, we're very fortunate to have some conservative cabinet ministers vote in favor of the bill. This time, remember, it's a conservative, Stephen Harper conservative. To get this far, there's going to be delays, there's going to be some tugs and pulls. But we put a human face on it, and it's hard not to be persuaded on how tough things are. And I don't want to play the victim, but how important it is for us to be included in Canadian society. If we have the same human rights, we're protected in housing. We're protected in the job market. We can present an economic argument. If we don't use up the social safety net, health care, corrections, just preventative care, we can actually work and make a living. So there's an economic argument, but there is resistance, there is stalling. As trans people, we've been very determined just to get this far. And so we're going to use that determination. And remember, the last time the bill passed was a Stephen Harper minority government. So we're lucky to get this far, but we do need everyone's help, everyone's support to let their senators know, just to push it that last little bit over the mountaintop.
And you're going to be the happy dance when that happens, aren't you?
I'm going to be doing a happy dance now. But we have a lot to be grateful for this year. And it would be nice to be celebrating this, and anything can happen in politics. But it's been a year since Toby's Act. And last time we were here talking, June 16th, last year, Toby's Act, Ontario Human Rights Code, to include gender identity and gender expression. Since then, we also amended in October the amending formula for legal identity, so that you just applied and had a doctor's note. Previously, you needed surgery to change the sex on your birth certificate. So those two things are going to really help people out. So we have a lot to celebrate in that regard. And then, of course, you know, we're marching down Yonge Street. And that was through the combined efforts of both Pride Toronto and community members who organized and said, heck no, we're going to march down Yonge Street no matter what you say. And so we need to be very grateful, and we need to be very thankful for those, you know, spirited efforts. And so march down Yonge Street, Toby's Act, legal documents, and really close in 279. So I think we have a lot to be grateful for and a lot to look forward to. And there's still a lot that needs to change, but I think we've got a lot of momentum.
Yeah, and for Canada Day coming up too, it would be a good thing to be amended right before Canada Day. The other thing I wanted to ask you, now this is a sensitive question, and I always say, you know, I always hurts my heart when I hear about some of the fallen heroes in the trans community. Do you think perhaps maybe it's because of the legislation and the difficulty of trans individuals living in society and not knowing where? Is that the reason why it's conducive to depression perhaps, or why there is such a struggle? Would you think that maybe amending the law might help in preventing all of that happening?
Yeah, that's a tough question to answer on the spot.
I twisted your nipple on that one, sorry.
We were like going from like happiness to sadness. But you know, this is how we live our lives. You know, and so we're taking some time this year to remember Kyle Scanlon, who was my contemporary. And you know, it really did rock me, because it made me realize just how vulnerable I could be. And you know, I'm seen as successful, and Kyle and I were similar, as seen as being the leaders in some way. And so it's really important for me to get the mental health supports that I need, have those interactive social relationships. So what I've learned over the last year is to be a little more open about my background of living on the street, of needing to access mental health and addiction supports. I think that's really important. Growing up is tough. It's hard to survive. Feeling different is lonely and isolating. And, you know, I have moments too. I just don't show them all. But I think there's a lesson to learn, both with Kyle, that we still have a ways to go. So these achievements are important, but they're a step.
That's right.
And it's going to take a while, a generation or so, for people to actually believe it or feel it, I think. I mean, look at young gay and lesbian people. They're feeling it. You can see them feeling it over there. And it was only 10 years ago that people didn't feel like they had that agency and freedom. You couldn't marry the one you loved growing up. So it's going to take a while for people to believe it. But it's also a clear message to the rest of society. It's not only wrong to discriminate, it's illegal to discriminate. And it still happens, so we still have a lot of educating to do. But there's going to be a whole generation that's going to come up and, you know, help us out with that.
Oh, good. You know, and on a happy note too, the Trans Parade's now going to be on Yonge Street this year. So how excited about that? Like, that's a great feat, you know?
Well, yeah, it's a step forward, right? And now, but even more exciting, what's going to happen next year. Because when the world comes for World Pride, because as soon as we finish this festival, we do strategic planning and lay everything out to make sure everyone comes here. So 279 to welcome World Pride, right?
Yes.
I mean, we still got problems. We don't know who's showing up to the flag raising on Monday. And you know, all city councilors are invited.
That's right.
Some are more welcome than others. But
some of them might be smoking crack, we don't know.
well,
Sorry. That was a bad joke,
well, and you know, so we still have some challenges around political leadership, federal, provincial, and municipal level. So we still have a lot of work to do. And that's what this shows us, is we can never take our rights for granted.
That's right.
That it's a fight. And once we earn them, we have to hold on strong. And you know how we do that? We do that by working together.
That's right.
And by working in solidarity. Because my struggle is your struggle. And one person's injury is everyone's injury. and we need to be strong together, and we'll do that marching down Yonge Street and marching and welcoming the world next year in 2014.
Oh my God, you're such a super queer hero for me. Like seriously, there was so much wisdom in the last statement. Thank you, Susan Gafka. Thank you so much for having joined me today with DDP Studios on Pride. And happy Pride!
Happy Pride, everyone! Let's celebrate, let's demonstrate, and time to live it up for a week.
Oh, thank you so much.
DDP Studios Incorporated. We make thinking fun.